In the world of television, success is often a carefully measured formula, a blend of writing, casting, timing, and cultural relevance. Yet, sometimes, something intangible sneaks into the mix, something that even the most meticulously crafted show can't bottle or recreate. The Big Bang Theory, which aired from 2007 to 2019, was one such phenomenon. While many sitcoms have tried to replicate its magic, none have quite managed to capture its unique charm. Why? Because The Big Bang Theory's secret weapon wasn't a formula. It was lightning in a bottle. And that lightning can never be replicated. At first glance, The Big Bang Theory appeared to be a fairly standard sitcom. A group of nerdy friends navigates work, relationships, and life in Pasadena, California. But beneath its laugh tracks and comic book references, the show was a cultural event. It became one of the most watched sitcoms of the 21st century, running for 12 seasons, winning 10 Emmy Awards, and launching careers into the stratosphere. So what made it so special? The show's secret weapon was chemistry. Not the kind Sheldon lectured about in Caltech classrooms, but the kind that sparked between its characters, its cast, and its audience. That chemistry wasn't written, it was discovered, nurtured, and allowed to evolve. It was the rarest element in television alchemy. The genuine, unpredictable connection that emerged when the perfect actors met the perfect roles at the perfect time. The cast. An irreplaceable ensemble. You can cast brilliant actors, and you can write flawless scripts, but you can't manufacture chemistry. When Johnny Galecki, Leonard, Jim Parsons, Sheldon, Kaylee Cuoco, Penny, Simon Helberg, Howard, and Kunal Nayyar, Raj, were brought together, something clicked. Their dynamic wasn't just convincing, it was compelling. Over time, their fictional friendships began to reflect something real behind the scenes. And that realness bled into every episode. Jim Parsons, in particular, became the unexpected breakout star. His portrayal of Sheldon Cooper, a socially unaware, intellectually superior physicist, was so finely tuned that he turned a character who could have been unlikable into one of television's most beloved oddballs. But it wasn't just Parsons. Cuoco brought unexpected depth to what could have been a one-note, girl next door. Helberg made Howard more than a creep. He made him endearing. Nayyar infused Raj with vulnerability. Galecki grounded the show in emotional truth. Later, the additions of Melissa Roch, Bernadette, and Mayim Bialik, Amy, only deepened the ensemble's richness. What's key here is that these performances weren't just well acted, they were perfectly balanced. No one overshadowed the others for long. The characters were quirky, sometimes exaggerated, but they were also real enough to feel familiar. That balance, that harmony, it's the kind of magic that even the best directors can't always plan. A time capsule of nerd culture. The Big Bang Theory also had uncanny timing. It arrived at a moment when nerd culture was breaking into the mainstream. Superheroes were beginning their box office takeover. Geek chic was becoming trendy. Dungeons and Dragons, Star Wars, Star Trek, Game of Thrones, and Doctor Who weren't just niche interests anymore. They were cultural capital. And here was a show that wore its love for all of them on its sleeve. The series didn't just reference pop culture. It celebrated it. The characters' encyclopedic knowledge of comic book lore wasn't a joke. It was a love letter. The cameos, Stephen Hawking, Stan Lee, Elon Musk, Neil deGrasse Tyson, George Takei, weren't just ratings bait, they were part of the world the show lived in. That sincerity resonated with audiences who, for once, saw their passions not mocked but glorified. But again, timing was everything. In the mid to late 2000s, this cultural shift was still fresh. It felt novel. Today, nerd culture is everywhere, saturated, commercialized, and sometimes hollow. If a show like The Big Bang Theory debuted now, it might feel like it's chasing trends rather than reflecting them. The writing. Smart enough to be funny, simple enough to be loved. Behind every successful sitcom is a writer's room full of geniuses, and The Big Bang Theory had some of the best. The scripts were fast, smart, and packed with jokes, but they never lost sight of the characters. The humor was often intellectual, sometimes surprisingly deep, but never inaccessible. You didn't have to understand quantum mechanics to laugh at Sheldon's pedantry. You just had to know someone like him. More importantly, the show evolved. It didn't rely solely on gags or catchphrases, though Bazinga had its moment. Over time, it allowed its characters to grow, awkwardly, stubbornly, hilariously, but meaningfully. Leonard and Penny's on-again, off-again relationship matured. Sheldon learned empathy. Raj confronted his loneliness. Howard became a father. These weren't seismic shifts, but they were believable. And in the sitcom world, believable growth is gold. Imitations miss the soul. Plenty of shows have tried to capture what the Big Bang Theory had. Some focused on geek culture. Others leaned into eccentric characters or science-based humor. A few even tried to copy the look and feel of the show's multi-camera format and live audience, but none have struck the same chord. Why? Because they saw the form, but missed the soul. They borrowed the nerdy references, but not the emotional depth. They cast quirky characters, but lacked the history that made those quirks meaningful. They didn't have a Parsons or a Cuoco. And they didn't arrive at a time when the world was ready for them. The unrepeatable equation. Here's the truth. You can't reverse engineer magic. You can't run focus groups to generate chemistry. You can't program heart. What the Big Bang Theory achieved wasn't just a hit show. It was a cultural alignment, a rare equation of talent, timing, tone, and truth. And like all truly great things in entertainment, it was fleeting, irreplaceable, singular. Much like Sheldon's theoretical pursuit of a unified field theory, fans and creators alike have tried to understand and replicate the forces that made the Big Bang Theory work. But some things in the universe are too complex to map. Some formulas refuse to be solved. And that's okay, because what the Big Bang Theory gave us was a moment in time, a brilliant, bizarre, beautiful moment that made millions laugh, made nerds feel seen, and made primetime television just a little bit smarter. Its secret weapon wasn't any one thing. It was everything. And no one, not even the brightest minds at Caltech, can replicate that.